The dust on the ancient moon had not been disturbed for thousands of years. Commander Haiyan-Wu stepped carefully through the entrance of the buried structure, his helmet light cutting through the darkness. Behind him, his team followed in silence. Jiwan carried the scanning equipment. Minho had his tools ready. Subin was already taking samples from the walls. They had been searching this moon for 3 weeks. The Therixian Empire paid well for archaeological work, but most digs turned up nothing interesting. Old pottery, broken machines, sometimes bones. Haiyan-Wu had started to think this assignment would be the same boring work as always. Then Minho found the sealed door. It took them 2 days to cut through the metal. The material was strange, harder than anything they had seen before. When they finally broke through, cold air rushed out like a breath from the past. The room beyond was perfectly preserved. Haiyan-Wu stood in the center of the vault and turned slowly. Machines lined the walls, each one sitting on a pedestal. Soft lights turned on as they entered, as if the room had been waiting for visitors. The machines were beautiful in a way he could not explain. They had clean lines and smooth surfaces. They looked more advanced than anything in the Therixian Empire. And the Empire had the best technology in the galaxy. Subin approached one of the machines carefully. It was a small cube, no bigger than her hand, floating above its pedestal without any visible support. She reached out to touch it, then stopped. On the base of the pedestal, there were words carved in a script she did not recognize. "Can you read this?" she asked. Haiyan-Wu pulled out his translation device and pointed it at the words. The device worked on thousands of languages, both living and dead. It hummed for a moment, processing. Then words appeared on his screen. Human Engineering, Generation 1. The team looked at each other. Juan spoke first. Human. That is not in the database. Check again, Haiyan-Wu said. DAAG pulled up the Galactic Species Index on her tablet. She searched for human in every possible way. Nothing came up. There is no species called human. Not now, not in any historical record. Minho was examining another machine. This one has the same label. So does this one. They all say Human Engineering, Generation 1. He paused. If this is Generation 1, where are the other generations? Subin ran her scanner over the floating cube. Commander, you need to see this. The dating scan says this is at least 50,000 years old. That cannot be right, Haiyan-Wu said. Check it again. Subin ran the scan 3 more times. Each time, the result was the same. 50,000 years? Maybe older. That was impossible. The Therixian Empire was the oldest known civilization. They had only been spacefaring for 12,000 years. Haiyan-Wu activated his communication link. This is Commander Haiyan-Wu to base. We have found something. Something very unusual. I need to speak with High Command immediately. The response came faster than he expected. Within an hour, he received orders to stop all work and secure the site. No one was to touch anything. No one was to speak about the find. A special team was being sent from the capital. The team spent an uncomfortable night in their ship. Guards posted at the vault entrance. No one slept well. Haiyan-Wu kept thinking about those words. Human engineering. Who were the humans? Why had no one ever heard of them? The special team arrived the next morning. They came in a military ship, which was strange for an archaeological site. The lead investigator was a high-ranking Therixian official named Velther. He was tall and thin, with the characteristic blue skin and 4 eyes of his species. He did not introduce himself warmly. You will show me everything you found, Velther said. It was not a request. They returned to the vault. Velther examined each machine in silence. His face showed no emotion, but Haiyan-Wu noticed his hands were shaking slightly. Whatever this was, it scared him. After an hour, Velther turned to face them. This site is now classified at the highest level. You will not speak about what you found here. Not to your families. Not to your friends. Not to anyone. Do you understand? Sir, Haiyan-Wu said carefully, we do not even understand what we found. Who were the humans? Velthar's eyes narrowed. That is not your concern. But sir, if there was an advanced civilization, I said, it is not your concern. Velthar's voice was sharp. He took a breath and spoke more calmly. You have done good work here. The Empire is grateful. You will be paid double your usual rate. But this site is now under military jurisdiction. You will leave today. Suben stepped forward. We should at least document what we have found. For science? For history. Documentation will be handled by specialists, Velthar said. You are dismissed. That night, as they prepared to leave, Minho came to Hein Wu's quarters. He looked nervous. Commander, I did something. Before they kicked us out? What did you do? I made copies. Of the scans, the photos, the translation data, everything. Minho held up a small data chip. I know we were ordered not to, but this is too important. We found proof of a civilization that should not exist, and they want to bury it. Hianwu knew he should order Minho to destroy the chip, but he took it instead. Keep this quiet. We will figure out what to do with it later. As their ship lifted off from the moon, Hianwu looked back at the site. Military ships were already landing, bringing more guards and equipment. They were sealing the vault, hiding the evidence. But why? What was the Empire so afraid of? What really happened to the humans? Giwan set their course for home, but Heian Wu's mind was still in that vault, staring at those impossible machines. Generation 1, the labels said. The first generation of human technology was more advanced than anything the modern galaxy had built. What had the later generations look like? And where had all the humans gone? 3 months passed, but Heian Wu could not stop thinking about the vault. He tried to return to normal work, but every archaeological site felt boring now. He had seen something impossible, and the Empire wanted him to forget it. That was not going to happen. Late one night, Subain called him. I have been working on the data Minho saved. I found something. The team met at Heian Wu's apartment. Minho brought drinks, but no one touched them. They were all staring at Sebin's screen. I ran the translation program through more advanced algorithms, Subin explained. The labels on the machines were not just names. They were part of a catalog system, like a library. She pulled up images of different machines they had photographed. Look at the numbers under each label. They are not random. Each machine has a classification code. This one is medical technology. This one is power generation. This one is data storage. So the humans were organizing their technology, Guan said. Why? That is the interesting part, Suben continued. The way it is organized, it feels like a teaching collection. Like they wanted someone to find these things and learn from them. Minho leaned forward. I have been analyzing the power core we scanned. The one that was still active after 50,000 years. Do you know what powers it? What? Heian Wu asked. I do not know. The energy readings make no sense. It seems to be pulling power from empty space itself. That should be impossible according to our physics. Everything about this is impossible, Juan said. A civilization we never heard of, technology we cannot explain, and the Empire trying to hide it all. Heian Wu made a decision. We need more information. Subin, can you hack into the Imperial archives? Find out if there have been other discoveries like ours. That is illegal, Subin said. Then she smiled. I can do it. It took her 2 weeks of careful work. The Imperial security systems were good, but Subin was better. She found references to similar discoveries going back thousands of years. The Empire had been finding human artifacts for a long time, always in sealed vaults, always labeled as Generation 1. There are at least 30 documented sites, Subin reported. But here's the strange part. All the official reports say the same thing. Unknown origin, no cultural significance, artifacts destroyed or lost. They have been covering this up for millennia. Why? Juan asked. What are they hiding? Minho was reading through the files. Wait, look at this. He pointed to a restricted file with a strange name. The Forbidden Archives. It has the highest security classification. I bet that is where they keep the real information. Can you access it? Heian Wu asked Suben. Maybe, but if I try and fail, they will know someone is looking. We would all be arrested. They looked at each other. This was the moment when they had to decide. Stay safe and forget about the humans, or risk everything for the truth. Do it, Hyanwu said. The forbidden archives were protected by security systems that Subin had never seen before. It took her 3 days of constant work. She barely ate or slept. Finally, late one night, she broke through. What they found changed everything. The files were ancient, some of them 10,000 years old. They told a story that no one in the modern galaxy knew. The humans were real. They had existed. And they had been everywhere, according to the records. Humans had achieved faster than light travel over 80,000 years ago. They had spread across the galaxy, exploring and settling thousands of worlds. But they had not been conquerors. They had been teachers. The files described how humans had found primitive species on dozens of planets. Species that were just beginning to develop intelligence. The humans had helped them. They gave them technology. They modified their genes to make them smarter and stronger. They taught them science and art and philosophy. The Thrixians were one of those species. This cannot be true, Jiwan whispered. The Thrixians are the oldest civilization. Everyone knows that. Everyone is wrong, Subin said. She pulled up more files. Look at this genetic analysis. The Thrixian genome has markers of artificial modification. Someone changed their DNA thousands of generations ago, made them better than they would have been naturally. The humans did this? Minho asked. The humans did this to dozens of species, Subin said, including yours, Jiwan, and mine. Maybe all of the advanced species in the galaxy were uplifted by humans? Yunwu felt dizzy. His entire understanding of history was crumbling. What happened to them? Why did they disappear? Subin scrolled through more files. The records say it happened about 50,000 years ago. The humans started pulling back from all their colonies. They sent messages to the species they had uplifted, but the messages were encrypted. Then, within 1 generation, every human disappeared. Their cities were empty. Their ships were gone. The only things they left behind were the vaults, and the Empire found out, Hyanwu said slowly. 10,000 years ago, when the Thrixians became spacefaring, they found evidence of the humans. They discovered that their entire civilization was built on human gifts. And they buried the truth, Jiwan said. They wanted everyone to think they had built everything themselves, that they were the ancient masters of the galaxy. Minho found another file. His face went pale. There's a message here. From the humans. It was decoded from one of the first vaults ever found. He played the audio. The voice spoke in an ancient language, but the translation system converted it to words they could understand. To those who find this, the voice said, "We are the humans. We gave you the tools to grow. We hope to see you flourish. But we face a great danger now. A threat that we cannot overcome. We call it the Great Filter. We must leave, or we will all die. We leave you our early technology, our Generation 1 designs. They will help you grow stronger. Learn from them. Build on them. Create wonders we never imagined. And if we fail, if we do not survive what is coming, then you must survive. You are our children. You are our hope. You are the future." The message ended. The room was silent. "They left us behind to save us," Subin said quietly. "Whatever the Great Filter was, they thought we would be safer without them, or they thought we were not advanced enough to help," Minho said. Hanwu stood up. "It does not matter what they thought. What matters is that this truth has been hidden for too long. The galaxy deserves to know where we came from. Empire will not let us tell anyone," Jiwan said. "They have kept this secret for 10,000 years. They will kill us if they have to." "Then we need to be smart about it," Hyanwu said. "We need to find a way to share this information with everyone at once. Make it impossible for them to suppress. Galaxy-wide broadcast," Minho said. "But we would need access to the relay network. Only the Empire controls that." Hyanwu smiled. "Then I guess we need to break into the most secure communication system in the galaxy." They all knew it was crazy. They all knew they would probably fail. But they also knew they had to try. The truth about the humans was too important to stay buried. The plan was simple in theory, but nearly impossible in practice. They needed to get onto Thurixa Prime, the capital world of the Empire. Then they needed to infiltrate the central relay station. Then they needed to upload their data to every communication channel in the galaxy simultaneously, all while avoiding the Empire's security forces. "We are going to die," Juan said cheerfully. Probably, Haiyan Wu agreed. "But we might succeed first." They needed help. The four of them could not do this alone. Subin suggested reaching out to others who might have encountered strange technology. Using encrypted channels, they carefully sent messages to scientists and researchers across the galaxy. Most did not respond. A few sent warnings to stay away from dangerous ideas, but 3 people answered with interest. The first was Torvash, a merchant from the Kelthari species. He ran a shop dealing in rare artifacts. "I have had a piece of crystal for years," he said over the video call. "It stores data, but I could never figure out how to read it. The energy signature matches nothing in our databases. If you are right about the humans, maybe it is one of their devices." The second was Corliss, a Drexian scientist. She had spent her whole career arguing that the galaxy's species had developed too quickly. "The mathematics do not work," she explained. "Evolution should take longer. Unless someone gave us a push." "I have been laughed at by every academic institution. But I was right, was I not?" The third response came from someone unexpected, a low-level Thurixian government worker named Han Yul. "I work in the archives," her message said. "I have seen things that do not match the official history. I want to help." They met on a neutral trade station near the border of Thurixian space. The station was crowded and noisy, which made it a good place to stay hidden. Haiyan Wu had never been good at secret meetings. He kept expecting security forces to burst in at any moment. Torvash was a large being with green scales and too many eyes. He placed his crystal on the table. "Show me this is worth the risk." Subin scanned the crystal. Her eyes went wide. "This is human technology. It contains thousands of files. Technical specifications, cultural records, even music." She looked up. "This is incredible." Corliss was smaller, with gray skin and a nervous manner. She pulled up charts and graphs on her tablet. "I have been mapping the genetic markers of every spacefaring species. There are similarities that should not exist between species that evolved on different worlds. Now I know why. We were all modified by the same source." Hanil was young for a Thurixian, barely an adult by their standards. She seemed frightened, but determined. "I brought something from the secure archives." She handed Haiyan Wu a data chip. "This is the original report from when we first discovered human vaults. 10,000 years ago. The High Council decided to keep it secret because they were afraid." "Afraid of what?" Minho asked. "Afraid that if our people knew we were created by someone else, they would lose faith in our civilization. Afraid that other species would question our right to rule. Afraid that the humans might come back someday and reclaim what they had given us. So they built an empire on a lie," Guan said. "Many empires are built on lies," Torvash rumbled. "The question is what we do now." We spent the next week planning. Hanul provided maps of the relay station and information about security schedules. Minho studied the station's technical specifications. Subin worked on creating a program that could upload their data to every channel at once. Corliss helped organize the information into something people could understand. Torvash used his merchant connections to get them forged credentials. Haiyan Wu worried they were missing something. The plan had too many parts that could go wrong. But they were out of time. Velthar and the Imperial Intelligence Service were getting closer. They had already arrested 2 scientists who had asked too many questions about ancient artifacts. "If we wait any longer, they will find us," Subin said. "We have to move now." They split into teams. Hanyul and Minho would enter the relay station as maintenance workers. Subin and Corliss would hack into the system from a nearby location. Haiyan Wu, Juan, and Torvash would create a distraction if needed. The relay station was a massive structure in orbit around Thurixa Prime. It handled all long-range communications for a third of the galaxy. Thousands of people worked there. Security was everywhere. Nell and Minho walked through the main entrance with their forged credentials. The security guard barely looked at them. Maintenance workers were common and uninteresting. They made their way to the central processing core. It was a huge room filled with servers and cables. Minho opened an access panel and connected his device. "I am in," he whispered into his communicator. At the same time, Subin was breaking through the station's security protocols from her rented room across the city. The defenses were strong, but she had expected that. What she had not expected was what she found inside. "Hi Anwu," she said urgently. "The relay station is not running on Therixian technology. The core systems are human-made. The Empire's been using human technology this whole time and pretending they built it. Can you still upload our data?" Haiyan-Wu asked. "Yes, but this changes things. We are not just exposing a secret. We are proving that the Empire's entire technological advantage is stolen." "Good," Haiyan-Wu said. "Let everyone know." Subin began the upload. Terabytes of data flowed into the relay network. The human message, the genetic evidence, the historical records, the Imperial cover-up. Everything. Alarms started ringing. They had been detected. "Minho, get out of there." Haiyan-Wu shouted, but it was too late. Security forces were already entering the processing core. Minho looked at Hanyul. "Run," he said. Then he locked the door from the inside and kept working. The upload was at 70%. Then 80. Security was cutting through the door. "Minho, you need to leave," Haiyan-Wu said. "Most done," Minho replied calmly. 90%. 90-5. The door burst open. Security forces grabbed Minho and pulled him away from the console. But it did not matter. The upload was complete. Across the galaxy, on every world with access to the relay network, the same message began to play. The human voice spoke about the Great Filter and leaving their children behind. Images showed the impossible technology. Data proved the genetic modifications. Records revealed the Imperial lies. Billions of beings watched and learned the truth. They learned about the humans who had walked the galaxy long before any modern civilization. They learned that they owed their existence to a species that had vanished 50,000 years ago. They learned that the Therixian Empire had lied to them for 10,000 years. The galaxy would never be the same. In her rented room, Subin smiled even as she heard security forces breaking down the door. They had done it. The truth was out. On the station, Haiyan-Wu and his team were already being arrested. But Haiyan-Wu did not resist. He had accomplished what he set out to do. As the security forces led him away, he looked out the viewport at Therixa Prime below. The city lights were flickering. Power was going out in some districts. Riots were probably starting. The Empire was collapsing, but from those ruins something new could grow. Something built on truth instead of lies. The prison cell was cold and bare. Haiyan-Wu sat on the metal bench and waited. He had been here for 3 days now, with no communication from the outside world. They had separated him from his team. He did not know if they were even still alive. The door opened. Velthor entered, looking older and more tired than before. He sat down across from Haiyan-Wu and said nothing for a long moment. "You have destroyed everything," Velthor finally said. "The Empire is falling apart. Riots in every major city. Half the member species are talking about leaving. The government is in chaos." "Good," Haiyan-Wu said. Velthor's eyes flashed with anger. "You think this is good? People are dying in those riots. The economy is collapsing. Ships are being attacked. This is what your truth has brought us." "No," Haiyan-Wu said firmly. "This is what your lies brought you. You kept the truth hidden for 10,000 years. Did you think there would be no consequences? We kept it hidden to protect people, to give them confidence in their own achievements. You kept it hidden to protect your power," Haiyan-Wu said. "And now you are paying the price." Velthor stood up. "You will be executed as a traitor, your team as well. The Empire may be weakened, but we still have enough strength for that." After he left, Haiyan-Wu sat in the darkness and wondered if he had made the right choice. People were dying because of what he had revealed, but what was the alternative? To let the lie continue forever? He did not get to think about it for long. That night, an explosion rocked the prison. Alarms blared. Smoke filled the corridors. The door to his cell slid open. Torvash stood there, holding a weapon. Come on, we do not have much time. How did you escape? Hyan-Woo asked as they ran through the chaos. I did not. I was never caught. Merchant connections are useful. Torvash led him through a maintenance tunnel. Your friends are waiting at the ship. They emerged in a landing bay where Juwon already had their vessel ready. Your Subin, Minho, Henyul, and Corliss were aboard. They took off before security forces could stop them, weaving through the orbital traffic of Therixa Prime. Where do we go now? Juwon asked. The Empire wants us dead. Half the galaxy thinks we are heroes. The other half thinks we are terrorists. We need to find more answers, Subin said. She was hunched over her console, analyzing data. I have been monitoring communications across the galaxy. People are asking the same questions we asked. Where did the humans go? What was the great filter? Are they coming back? Can we answer those questions? Minho asked. Maybe, Subin said. I have been looking at the locations of all the known human vaults. They form a pattern, a network. And at the center of that network there is a system that has never been explored. The charts say it is impossible to reach because of gravitational anomalies. If it is impossible to reach, how do we get there? Hyun-Woo asked. Subin smiled. With human technology. Torvash, that crystal you brought us? It contains navigation data for what the humans called transit lanes. Stable paths through dangerous space. If we follow their maps, we can reach that central system. They set course for the unknown system. It took them 2 weeks of careful flying through regions where stars were too close together in gravity. Wells made navigation nearly impossible. Giwon earned her salary several times over with her piloting skill. When they finally arrived, they found something incredible. The system had 6 planets, and every single one of them had ruins. Human ruins. Massive cities, empty for 50,000 years. Orbital stations still floating in space, powered by those impossible energy sources. This was not just a colony, Corliss said in awe. This was a capital. A hub for their entire civilization. They landed on the 3rd planet, in the center of what had once been a great city. The buildings were still intact, preserved by the dry atmosphere. They walked through streets where humans had once lived and worked and raised families. In the center of the city, they found the largest vault yet. This one was not sealed. The doors stood open, as if inviting them inside. The vault was enormous, filled with more technology than they had ever seen. But in the very center, there was something different. A large display screen, still active after all these years. When they approached, it turned on. A hologram appeared, showing a human woman. She looked tired, but determined. If you are watching this, the hologram said, then you have followed our trail. You have learned the truth about your origins. You have questions. We will answer them. The hologram changed, showing images of the galaxy as it had been 80,000 years ago. We were like you once. We developed intelligence. We built civilizations. We reached for the stars. We thought we were alone in the universe, but we were wrong. We were not the first. There were others who came before us so long ago that even their ruins had turned to dust. We found only their warnings, carved in stone on 100 worlds. They warned of a cycle, a pattern that repeats across the universe. They called it the Great Filter, a test that all intelligent civilizations must face. Most fail, most die. We did not understand until it was too late. The hologram showed space itself beginning to change, reality warping and twisting. The collision of galaxies, the merging of space-time. The laws of physics themselves became unstable in this region of space. Stars burned too hot. Planets drifted from their orbits. Life could not survive. We had a choice. Stay and die with our children, or flee to stable space and hope you would survive without us. It was the hardest choice we ever made. We left you everything we could. Our Generation 1 technology, the basics that could help you grow. Our genetic gifts to make you stronger and smarter. Our warnings, for when you were ready to understand them. And our hope. Always our hope. The hologram changed again, showing humans building massive ships. We fled to the edge of the universe, 2 regions where space is stable. We survived. We continued to advance. We reached generations of technology beyond what we left you. But we never forgot. We watched you from afar. We saw you grow. We saw you build civilizations we never dreamed of. We saw you become more than we ever were. And we waited. The Great Filter has a cycle. The collision effects last for 50,000 years, then fade. The danger passes. We have been counting the years, waiting for the day when we could come home. That day is coming soon. The hologram showed coordinates, a timestamp, and one final message. We are your past, but you are our future. We gave you life, but you gave us hope. We are coming home, not as your rulers, not as your gods, but as your family. Wait for us. We will see you soon. The hologram faded. The team stood in silence, trying to process what they had just learned. They are coming back, Haniel whispered. The humans are coming back. When? Minho asked. Subin checked the timestamp. Her face went pale. According to this, the fleet left their refuge 6 months ago. They will be here in 3 weeks. The galaxy was about to change again. And this time, no one could predict what would happen. The news spread across the galaxy faster than light. The humans were returning. The species that had created them all was coming home. Reactions were mixed and often violent. On some worlds, people celebrated. They built monuments and prepared festivals. They saw the humans as saviors and parents who would make everything right. On other worlds, people panicked. They remembered that the humans had been powerful enough to modify entire species. What would they do to civilizations that had disappointed them? The remnants of the Thurixian government tried to maintain order, but they had lost most of their authority. Belthar made speeches calling for calm, but no one listened to him anymore. The empire that had ruled for 10,000 years was breaking into smaller states, each trying to decide how to face the returning humans. Hyanwu and his team became unlikely celebrities. Everyone wanted to interview them, to hear about the vaults and the message. They declined most requests. They were tired and still processing everything themselves. What do you think they will be like? Giwan asked one night as they waited. The humans, advanced, Minho said. Generation 47 technology. That is 46 generations beyond what we found. We probably cannot even imagine what they can do now. That is not what I meant, Jiwan said. Will they be kind? Will they be disappointed in us? Will they try to take control? No one had an answer. Subin spent her time analyzing every piece of human data they had found. She built a profile of what humans had been like 50,000 years ago. They had been curious and creative. They had loved music and art. They had valued knowledge and exploration. They had cared enough about other species to uplift them and give them a chance at greatness. But 50,000 years was a long time. People could change. Civilizations could change. Would the humans returning be the same ones who had left? 3 weeks after they found the message, the sensors detected something. Ships were entering the galaxy from deep space. Hundreds of them. Thousands. The largest fleet anyone had ever seen. But they were not warships. They were colony vessels, science ships, transport barges. A civilization on the move, coming home. The fleet stopped at the edge of explored space and sent a message. It was broadcast to every world, every station, every ship. A human voice spoke, and the translation systems rendered it in thousands of languages. People of the galaxy, we are humanity. We have returned. We come in peace. We come in hope. We come to see what our children have become. A face appeared on the screens. A human man, looking middle-aged by human standards. His name, he said, was Dayun. He was an ambassador, chosen to speak for all humanity. We know you have questions, Dayun said. We know you are afraid. Some of you are angry that we left. Some of you are angry that we came back. These are all reasonable feelings. We abandoned you. We had our reasons, but that does not erase the pain we caused. We want you to know that we do not claim any authority over you. You are not our subjects. You are not our children anymore. You are independent civilizations with 50,000 years of your own history. We respect that. We honor that. but we hope we can know you. We hope we can learn from you. And yes, we hope we can share what we have learned as well. Not as gifts from superiors to inferiors, but as exchanges between equals. The message ended with an invitation. Representatives from every species were welcome to meet with the human fleet. They would hold a gathering to discuss the future. Haiyan-Wu received a personal message. Daeon wanted to meet him specifically. The human ambassador wanted to thank the team that had revealed the truth and made this reunion possible. They took their ship to the human flagship, a vessel so large that it had its own internal gravity and atmosphere. As they docked, Haiyan-Wu felt his heart racing. He was about to meet a real human, a member of the species that had created his own ancestors. Daeun met them in a simple conference room. He looked normal, not godlike or perfect. Just a person with kind eyes and a warm smile. He shook each of their hands in the human custom. "Thank you," he said simply. "Thank you for finding our message. Thank you for having the courage to share it. You gave the galaxy time to prepare for our return. That was a great gift. We almost caused a war," Haiyan-Wu said. "The Empire collapsed. People died in riots." "The Empire collapsed because it was built on lies," Daeon said gently. "That is not your fault. Truth is often painful, but it is necessary. You did the right thing." They talked for hours. Daeon explained what life had been like for humanity in their exile. They had found a region of stable space and built new worlds there. They had continued advancing, solving problems that had seemed impossible. But they had also suffered. They had lost much of their cultural diversity. After 50,000 years with only each other, they had become too similar to uniform. "That is why we are so excited to come back," Daeon said. "You have what we lost. Diversity. Different ways of thinking. Different approaches to problems. Every species in this galaxy has had 50,000 years to develop their own unique culture and technology. You have innovations we never imagined." Subin leaned forward. "But your technology is so far ahead of ours. What could we possibly offer you?" Daeon smiled. "Let me show you something." He pulled up a hologram showing a complex mathematical equation. "This is a problem we have been trying to solve for 10,000 years. It involves quantum computing and consciousness transfer. We have made no progress." Pulled up another hologram. "This is a paper published by a Drexian scientist 3 years ago. She solved it using an approach that never occurred to us. Her species thinks differently than we do. She saw possibilities we were blind to." He looked at Corliss, who was blushing with pride. "You are not our inferiors. You are our hope for new ideas and new directions. We gave you a foundation, but you built something we could not have built ourselves." Over the following months, the galaxy slowly adjusted to the new reality. Humans established embassies on major worlds. They shared some of their advanced technology, but carefully, making sure not to overwhelm local cultures. They asked to study the unique innovations that each species had developed. Some humans chose to settle in the galaxy again. Others returned to their exile space, now connected by regular transit routes. The galaxy became richer and more diverse than ever. The Therixian Empire reformed as a republic, with Hanyul becoming one of its youngest elected leaders. She pushed for transparency and truth in government. Velthor retired, a broken man who had seen his whole world change. Torvash opened a museum of human artifacts, helping people understand their shared history. Corliss became the head of a new research institute where humans and other species worked together on impossible problems. Minho joined the team designing new ships that combined human Generation 47 technology with innovations from dozens of species. The results were beyond anything either humans or the younger species could have achieved alone. Subin continued studying human history and language. She became the leading expert on human culture and helped bridge the gap between humanity and the rest of the galaxy. G1 kept flying, piloting ships that used those transit lanes through impossible space. She loved the challenge of navigating where no one had gone before. Haiyan-Wu became an advisor to the Galactic Council. The new organization formed to help all species work together. He spent his days meeting with leaders from dozens of worlds, helping them find common ground. One day, a year after first contact, Daeyeon invited Hyen Woo to a ceremony. They were opening a memorial at the site of the first vault, the one Hyen Woo's team had discovered. The memorial was simple: a statue showing humans and other species standing together, looking up at the stars. Below it, an inscription in every known language: "We were your ancient past. You are the infinite future. Together we walk toward tomorrow."
Oh.
"Do you think we made the right choice?" Daeyeon asked as they stood before the memorial. "Leaving you behind all those years ago?" Hyen Woo thought about it. "I think you made the only choice you could. You saved us, and we saved you in a way. We kept the galaxy alive and diverse while you were gone. We both needed each other." That is a good way to look at it. Not parents and children. Not teachers and students, just family. Above them, ships from 100 worlds move through the sky. Human vessels and Therixian cruisers, Kelthari traders and Drexian science ships. All flying together, all working toward a common future. The Great Filter had passed. Humanity had survived. And so had their children. Now, together, they would build something greater than either could have built alone. The Age of Secrets was over. The Age of Cooperation had begun. And the galaxy, once divided by lies and fear, was finally united by truth and hope.